Rooted and Rising family, welcome back, and welcome in. Take a breath. Told you that's my favorite part of every collective reading. Settle in and allow yourselves to just receive. They recognize it now. They recognize it now, Rooted and Rising family. As always, this collective message will not resonate, will not be for everyone. Everything isn't for everybody, right? So we're going to take what resonates, we're going to leave what does not. We also should listen and consider that some things are still unfolding and it may not resonate until later on, right? So again, every part of this message will not be for everybody. When I speak of masculine, when I speak of feminine, I'm speaking of energies and not genders, all right? So this message right here, it is layered, rooted and rising. It is a connection that has either come into your life already, it's currently unfolding, it's working itself out, right? Or is about to, but either way, the energy is already here, right? This is one of those connections where at first it may not look like much, but then over time, it starts to mean something. Let's walk through it again because they recognize it now. So we start off with a great card, the Ace of Pentacles, the opportunity. We know our aces is our opportunity cards, and our pentacles is our earth sign cards, a grounded, stable energy, right? So starting here, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Once again, this is that moment where something is being offered to you. This is the opportunity, right? And for some of you, once again, this already came in. So this is something that already happened and it's working its way, it's working. You all are working through it, right? And for others, you're in it right now, or it is getting ready to enter into your life. But either way, it feels simple at first. It's not overwhelming. It is not dramatic. It is just there. And Spirit is communicating not to overlook it because it feels small. All right. This is the kind of energy that has the potential to grow into something real. Again, the Pentacles is our, earth sign energy. It represents the earth signs, every card in the Pentacles. So it is grounded. It is stable. That's why the Pentacles is usually talking about finances, because it is a stable thing, it is a grounded thing. In other words, this is not a fleeting opportunity. Like our one cards, wands represents but fire, which is passion. So it's not just passion and then it dies. This opportunity that is simple at first is grounded. It's grounded. So it's an opportunity for realness, an opportunity for growth, an opportunity for longevity, an opportunity to bloom into the Ten of Pentacles, which is legacy. In other words, long lasting, right? It's beautiful. So from there, we move on from the opportunity, which is the Ace of Pentacles, to the Fool. And I know that card can be like, what? Really, the Fool? But yeah, so the Fool is the start that wasn't overthought. There's no overthinking here, because the Fool represents doing what? Taking the leap. You know what? I've thought about it enough. I've been stuck in my head enough. I'm going to take the leap. I'm just going to do it already, right? That's what the Fool card is representing. So we move on into the Fool card, right? And this is where things feel light, because the Fool is this innocent energy, though. It's not silliness. It is an innocent, childlike energy, right? It's light. All right. And for some of you, this connection started without pressure, if it's begun already. All right, like kind of like let's just see what happens. That's taking the leap, right? In others, it'll start out that way. It'll feel that way. No expectation, no heavy labels, no overthinking. And that's the reason why it's, it's able to come in. It wasn't forced. It's light. It's easy. It's taking the leap. It's, once again, it's done with, I don't want to say naivety, but with a childlike innocence, right? And for those where this hasn't fully started yet, again, that's how it's going to feel. Easy, natural. Not something you have to figure out right away, because remember, we started out with the grounded opportunity, the Pentacles. Pentacles, again, I explained, represents stability. It represents groundedness. It's our earth energy, right? But Pentacles is able to be that way because it's not like the Wand cards. The Wand's passion, it's fast moving. The Pentacles, the earth's energy, it means it's slow. It's slow moving. That's why it's able to build. So that's why right after that Ace of Pentacles, we have the Fool, which is taking the leap, but it's childlike, it's innocent, it's easy. It's able to feel easy because it isn't rushed. It's grounded. It is slow moving. So the pressure is not there, as in when you've got this real fiery passion. You have started everything very quick, very fast. You are making decisions that need to likely be grounded very fast. So it feels pressured. You don't have time to think. You're just like, I'm jumping into it, but I'm jumping into something pressured. Where the Fool is saying, along with the Ace of Pentacles, then the Ace of Pentacles and the Fool is saying it is slow moving. It is grounded. It is not forced. And it's natural. It's easy. Okay. Think about it when you start a job and you're excited in the beginning, right? You're excited. You got the job, you're starting, and you go, and you've got vigor and joy. You're getting up happy to go to work, and you're at your best at all times. And then, a couple years down the road, you're like, right? But anyway, that's the beginning. Starting that new job energy is the Fool card. So it's like that. It's lighthearted. It's easy. It is natural. It is not forced. And the Ace of Pentacles allows it to be that way because it's grounded. It is slow moving, right? So we move on from there to a very beautiful card, the Three of Cups. It just felt good because that's what the Three of Cups represents: joy, merriment, right? So the Three of Cups, our cups is our what? Our emotions, our water energy. It represents the water element. So we get the Three of Cups, and this is that energy where you just you just enjoy one another. You just enjoy being around one another. You enjoy each other's company, right? You're laughing, you're talking, you're connecting. You're really getting to know one another in a grounded, healthy way. Because again, we have a grounded opportunity. So the opportunity was small, but it was serious and slow. And then we had the Fool, we took the leap, but we also are starting it now. It's a leap with ease, and it's natural because it's grounded. Then we have the Three of Cups, and we're just getting to know one another. We are just enjoying one another and being around one another, right? So again, you're laughing, talking, connecting. For some of you, if it is already started, it felt like a friendship at first, right? A friendship. Or something that just didn't feel heavy. And again, if it didn't start already, if it's unfolding, it'll feel that way, like a friendship building. But what Spirit is ultimately showing is that even though it feels light, or for those who started, it felt light, it isn't or wasn't empty. Again, it's a grounded opportunity, the Ace of Pentacles. So it's not empty. It is all being built on something real. All right. Again, there is something building underneath it, or was if it started, right? Then we move on because we have a grounded opportunity that is moving slow, it does not mean that passion is not there. Because what's a romantic connection without passion? Passion is a good thing, We need passion and romance, right? So the wand energy is needed, but we just need something built underneath it. So we go to the Queen of Wands, the attraction. All right, here's where it shifts. Remember, our wands is fire, the fire element, the fast moving, the passion, the drive, what's behind, like the motivation. So anyway, this is where the attraction becomes noticeable. But since we're talking about a connection, a romantic connection, instead of being a drive or what motivates you, it will usually represent passion. All right. So somebody stands out here, and whether that's you or the other energy, it's undeniable. There's confidence, there's presence, there's energy. All right. And this is where it goes from, this is nice, like, this is nice, I could do this, to, okay, what is this? Like, oh, what have we here? Again, it's needed, right? And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. All right. And then we move on from the attraction to the Three of Swords. Oh, the swords, the real feelings. Swords, since I've explained every other energy, our swords represents the air element, right? It cuts through things. Cuts through things. And it usually represents a type of communication, but it also, it's like sharp. It cuts through things. It's our swords energy. All right, so we hit the Three of Swords. And this is where the emotions start getting real. All right. We go from grounded opportunity, and then we go to taking the leap, and it's fun, it's easy, we have joy, we have merriment, and we have the passion coming on in and the attraction. Then we get to the real feelings, like, oh my God, this is real, right? So this is where our emotions start getting real. Now, this doesn't always mean that the connection itself is painful, but it does bring things up. So the Three of Swords for seasoned tarot readers and people who know what the traditional tarot deck looks like. It's a heart and it's three swords kind of stabbing through it, and it usually represents some type of pain or heartache, basically some kind of pain that you're going through, some kind of heartache. But it doesn't always signify like you're going through heartache, or sometimes it can represent past heartache or other things. It just depends on what other cards are connected to it, and it depends on what you are pulling on, right? But so it doesn't mean that the connection itself is painful, but it does bring things up. So this is like your past hurts, but also like unspoken feelings. That's what I'm saying. It can also represent something like that. It doesn't always mean heartache and pain. It doesn't always mean the extreme, but it can also represent unspoken feelings, right? Things that maybe weren't dealt with before. All right. And pulling from an oracle deck called the Unspoken Truth, we got the card, if there is a next life, I would tell you how I feel sooner, right? So that ties into the Three of Swords. And that's pretty deep, right? Because for some of you, this is where you may realize or be realizing, I didn't say what I needed to say, right? Or they're feeling something now that they didn't fully express before. It's like, well, the feelings are real. All right, the feelings are real, and I didn't say what I needed to say. So it may be some kind of regret here. That's representing the Three of Swords, or it can be past hurt, past pain kind of coming up, maybe reflecting on what you went through and what you didn't have in the past. Or again, what you realize you want in this connection and didn't really voice or say. Or maybe you have regrets in the connection that's happening with your divine feminine or masculine, where, maybe a connection where you've maybe It may be a reconnection, put it that way. And you didn't say what you needed to say the first time. You realize it. And there may be some regret there. I didn't say what I needed to say. And again, the Oracle deck, I would tell you sooner. So you may feel like there's some loss of time for maybe, being a pentacle energy and moving really slow, right? But anyway, this is still where the feelings get real, because you've just been enjoying each other, right? You have been enjoying being around each other, taking the leap. It's been easy. And then it hits you like, oh my God, this is real. Like, I really connect with this person. I really feel something real here. So it may not be any regrets. It's just where you are realizing that you fully have real feelings for this individual. So sometimes it doesn't have to do with heartache or pain. It's just a realization that causes you that kind of pain or heartache. Like, ooh, this is really real, And the heartache or pain may be like, well, am I ready for this realness that I feel? It's hitting me out of nowhere. And am I ready to deal with it? Am I ready for it? Because I really feel it. It is really real. It is more than just having a good time with this person. It is more than just attraction. I really have a connection to this person, and I really want long-term with this person. Okay, so we go on from the Three of Swords to this is real to something much more dramatic, the Tower, right? So the Tower is combined with the Six of Cups. This is the realization that hits. So the Three of Swords is like, well, the feelings are real. And then we have the realization of it all, right? So we get the Tower, which is a dramatic card, right? That's when usually everything falls. Something is just completely falling apart. And it's not always a bad card. With the Six of Cups, the Six of Cups usually represents, on its own, it will represent something from your past, like a nostalgia type thing. But anyway, so this is the moment where everything clicks, right? And it does not happen right away. Again, we've had that grounded opportunity. We've been in the full energy. We've been in merriment, enjoying each other. The passion has ignited. And so then the realization is like, oh, I really like this person. And then this is the realization. The realness of your feelings are actually there. Then the realization hits. All right. And it doesn't always happen right away. Once again, for some of you, this is someone from your past. That's the Six of Cups. That Six of Cups is a nostalgia card from your past. So it could represent somebody that you already know. And this is a reconnection. And for others, this is a current connection that feels like something deeper than what it looks like. So it isn't always, Six of Cups isn't always literally someone from your past. It could be a connection where it feels like you already know this person, even though in this lifetime you've never met, right? It's deep. But when this realization hits, it hits, right? There's no denying it, right? Like, wait, this actually means something, right? And that's where the Oracle deck card that was pulled, no one else compares to you. It comes in, right? That's the realization. It's no one else compares to you. So you get the Tower where, again, is a reputation of something just totally dismantling. And that's your realization, right? It's like your head in the clouds, coming out of the clouds with the Tower, like knocking you over. Like, oh my God, this is the one. Six of Cups. This is deep. This is real. This is a connection that feels like I have known this person and I've never known this person, or this is a reconnection where I literally know this person or know of this person and we're reconnecting. And as a whole, reconnection or new, it feels like a real deep connection from someone you have already known. And for those of you who believe in past lives, so like a past life connection, you have known. My dog is just over here. I'm trying to be this whole entire time, just be real straight. He is over here tripping for real, okay? And now he has jumped on top of a bag or something and he's making noise. But anyway, it's still a real deep connection for those who believe in past life connection. It's like, and we were together in a past life or have known each other in a past life or past lives, multiple, right? Either way, fantasy story for some, real for others, but this is a deep rooted connection. The feeling of it is, right? That's the realization. right? And again, that's the Oracle deck from the Unspoken Truth. No one else compares to you. No one else compares to you. All right. So, but now that the comparison has already happened, the conclusion is clear. You know, the realization is there. There is for you at this point, no one else compares to you. There is no one else, right? There is just this person right here. All right, then we move on to some more wand energy again, because what is a love connection without fire, without passion? But it also represents movement. So our knights will represent movement though. So anyway, Knight of Wands. Now they're moving different because the realization of no one else compares to you. They're moving and moving differently. So now we see movement. Right? Knight of Wands. This is where somebody starts acting on what they feel. It is no longer internal. It is no longer being restrained. It is no longer being resisted. It is time to move, right? Knight of Wands. He's on a horse, right? He's ready to go. Right, ready to go, full of fire, full of drive. And even though this is talking about a romantic connection, this is more about a drive, motivation, what moves will move. Passion is moving him or her, but movement is happening either way. So now they're moving different. We have the Knight of Wands. All right, this is where somebody's acting on what they feel. It is no longer just, internal. All right, you'll notice the shift. So there's more attention, there's more effort, more presence. So even though there was movement before, again, this is a grounded movement. Ace of Pentacles moves slow. So after the realization, well, movement picks up. It is like, okay, so now we didn't have merriment, we didn't took the leap, we'd had the merriment. We were moving slow. Queen of Wands is there, so its attraction is there. The realness of it all with the Three of Swords and the realization with the Tower, the Six of Cups, you're the one, and this is something deep at that. Something deeply rooted and deeply connected. Now we are moving different. All right. We're moving with some momentum, with drive, more attention, more effort, more presence, more spark. And I do mean more passion. Nothing wrong with that, right? Right? It might still feel a little up and down because they're still figuring it out. Right? I feel this, but I'm still learning how to handle it. Again, we're still have a grounded pentacle movement, but you know what I mean? It still picks up speed after the realization has really hit and really occurred that you're the one that I am definitely moving towards. That's what the realization is I'm not thinking of anything else. We're not thinking of dating anyone else. You're the one that I am moving towards. Then we have the King of Pentacles. And I really wanted to reveal in the beginning, I said, it seems like you're dealing with a pentacle energy, period. So you're not going to have a whole bunch of fast moving regardless. Pentacle energy is grounded, it is stable, and going to really think things to damn death before they do anything. So it's grounded, it's long term, but it isn't going to move quickly. All right, but King of Pentacles is next. And again, this is where we're getting serious. Again, King of Pentacles is very grounded, very stable. It is an earth energy. So again, slow movement, but most of all, longevity is on the mind. It is not just a fleeting, flighty surface movement or ideal, or else the King of Pentacles is not going towards it. King of Pentacles is only focused on the long term and building. If it has nothing to do with building, grounded stability, then you don't have a King of Pentacles energy. So now we get serious with the King of Pentacles, right? And this is where things mature. All right, this is representing things maturing, but again, overall, you're dealing with a King of Pentacles type of energy. Somebody that really wants longevity, and also someone who's going to take their time in moving and not going to just jump in. All right, so if that's what you want, well, then you may have a different idea of who your divine counterpart is, because this as a whole is definitely a King of Pentacles type of person who's going to want to be paired with the Queen of Pentacles type person, because they're also going to want someone grounded and stable and looking for the long term and able to do that. You know, you could be looking for it. It doesn't mean you're able to do it, but able to do and be connected for the long term. Now, if I go open the door for my dog, right, you know what he's going to do? I'm going to close the door, and then he's going to stand right by my door, and then he's going to scratch for me to let him back in. So, anyway, so things are getting serious. This is where things are getting real. All right, this is where things mature. Now somebody is thinking long term, but initially this particular divine energy was already thinking long term. They wouldn't have started to move towards you if they didn't think that you were also thinking long term, or you were somebody that had the potential to be long term as a whole. But anyway, so now somebody's thinking long term. This is not just attraction, and it never was, not for this person. It's intention. And we have an angel number from the Angel Number Oracle deck, and that is 0330. All right. And this number was representing energy, growth, progress, communication improving. And that's exactly what it is. All right. This is where things start to become real. All right. Real and grounded and moving towards longevity. It's moving in that direction, because we already had the Knight of Wands coming out. So movement was occurring. And then our King of Pentacles is serious, grounded, stable, legacy, movement. All right. Then we have the Six of Pentacles. Lots of pentacles here again. This is stable earth energy. It starts the balancing out, right? It starts balancing out. Our Six of Pentacles is like the Libra balancing energy, right? It's equal give and take. All right. It is balance. That's what we get. Six of Pentacles, where things may have felt uneven before, now there's reciprocity. Effort is being matched. It's not one person doing everything. It is not one person being relied on for everything. This is equal give and take. And I'm not talking about this nonsense, this 50-50 nonsense. That is not equal give and take. All right. You know, it's both parties pouring into each other emotionally. You don't got one that's responsible for handling everybody's emotions. You know, I'm there for you emotionally. You're there for me emotionally. I'm there for you in every way, equal give and take. All right. Effort is being matched and energy is being returned. I don't know. You're doing the dishes. I'm sweeping the floor. Something. It's just equal give and take. It is not one person solely relying on that person for everything and draining the absolute everything out of that person and then getting mad at that person for not continuing to want to keep it up. All right. No, this is equal give and take. All right. It's not perfect, but it is intentional. All right. It's intentional, as in you're watching and looking out for it. All right. You are always watching and looking out for how you can help or assist one another. There may be clear-cut roles, but it's no, I will not do that because that's your role. No, you're working together. Why work against yourself? That's ridiculous. All right. A household has to work together or you get nowhere. You're two people stuck getting nowhere because one person wants to go here, one person wants to go there, when you can disagree to disagree, but you can get it done. I mean, I don't have to agree with you to do what I need to do. That's just my opinion. I didn't went off, but I'm just saying. I don't have to agree with you to do what I need to do. We can disagree later, but let's just get it done. Okay. All right. So I'm saying equal give and take is the Six of Pentacles. It's somewhat like the Two of Cups, but the cups represents emotions. so you're balanced and you're pouring into each other. That means it's a lot, usually a coming together, but one that's reciprocated. That's like a coming together, a connection that's reciprocated. Not in romance, you're talking about romance, but it can be in business and in partnership, depending on what you're asking about. But Six of Pentacles represents that, because Pentacles is again, Pentacles usually represent finances, so that's why it's saying equal give and take. All right. Moving in the same direction. Let's put it that way. There's nobody fighting against each other. You're both pouring into one another. You're both working together. You can disagree, but you're still working together, because you realize that if we can disagree and still move, we're moving. All right. Well, if we disagree and go against each other, we're not going anywhere. All right. Nobody's going anywhere. You're stuck. All right, anyway, and we'll move on. Eight of Swords comes next, speaking of being stuck, right? So we're back with this here air energy, and the Swords, once again, it's like a communication card, but the Eight of Swords, represents something entirely different. But we've combined that with the Lovers, and so we have Eight of Swords plus the Lovers, the choice. That's why they're going together. This is representing the choice. And I'll explain that in a minute. So here is the hesitation. Again, people who know what the tarot deck looks like, the traditional one, Eight of Swords, and of course there's 8 swords around this person, but it's a person standing around, 8 of Swords is around them, 8 swords are around them, kind of stuck in the ground, and the person's kind of standing in the middle, wrapped up in bandages, and they're stuck. They can't go anywhere. But the stuck, because swords is like mental energy. Swords means it's a lot of things, communication, but it's also like thinking. You're in your head. It's a mental trap. So 8 of Swords means this person is stuck in their mind, overthinking, right? They have the ability to be free. That's why it's just a mind trap. It's nobody has them stuck there. There's 8 swords around this person and bandages that can be cut open and freed with the swords, right? They can be free, but they're stuck. So no one's keeping them there, because it's just the mind. They have the ability to be free when they come out of their mind. Stop overthinking it. Right? So this is the hesitation, and that's what the 8 of Swords is representing. Because even with everything felt, even with everything being recognized, one energy still fears. There's still fear. There's still overthinking. There's still second guessing. They're still trying to make sense of something that's already being felt, or stuck in the past, or I don't want to get hurt again. There's fear there, right? And then the Lovers, represents choice. So they're in a mental trap about the choice, right? But we have from our Oracle deck, the Angel Number Oracle deck 0440. That message says what? Trust your intuition. Because the truth is, they already know intuitively, right? It's just about whether they act on what they know. So in other words, the trap is mental. It is internal. It is no one keeping them there. They're stuck in overthinking, which is their own fears, own hesitation, own mind. There's 8 swords around them that could free them from the thing that has them bound, so they can come out of it whenever they choose and realize they're not really stuck. Lovers is the choice, and they know what choice they want to make from the Angel Number 0440 about trusting your intuition. They're saying you already know what to do, so you can really come out of your mind about it and just trust that you know what to do, and you know what you want, and you know what to act on, and you know what it would ultimately bring you. And that's part of the fear. Some people fear joy and feel and fear things that they haven't experienced before, and happiness. And I'm going to say some people, I'm going to say even myself. You can have a fear of joy when you when you've lived outside of it. You can fear having it. You can yearn and long for it, but you can fear it at the same time. And you can be in your own mind about truly feeling peace and joy and truly being and experiencing love and connection. So anyway, Eight of Swords, Lovers. Again, that's the mind and mental trap. The Lovers is the choice. That's what they're trapped about. It is their own mind. Nobody's keeping them stuck there. They have the ability to free themselves with the swords that are there. The Oracle deck from the angel number says, trust your intuition. Basically, stop overthinking it. Come out of the trap, the mental trap that nobody has you stuck in but you. And you know what to do. Because you do. All right. Well, we move on to the Peaceful Fox. And so it's not a tarot card. So we move on to the Peaceful Fox. That's another Oracle deck. It's the Forest Friends Oracle deck, and it just gives cute little messages. And it says what? Don't force it. That's the message. That's the card we got, was the Peaceful Fox. That card is literally the Peaceful Fox. And he said, don't force it. All right. So that's what we end with, the Peaceful Fox. All in all, don't force it, right? I love this here. It fits here, right? It slows everything down after all of that. This is still, and the Peaceful Fox also is kind of representing, once again, that full energy. It doesn't need to feel forced. It can still feel natural, you know? It can still feel ease. It doesn't mean there won't be issues that you need to work through, but it doesn't have to be burdensome. So again, don't force it. That's what we end with. You don't have to rush this. And this is a connection that won't be rushed. You had a lot of Pentacle cards for this particular reading, but since the King of Pentacles, and when I've done readings on just divine connections before, we tend to get the King of Pentacles. I think this is basically a progression of the same energies. That King of Pentacles continues to come out, which means overall you're dealing with a King of Pentacle energy. It will not be quickly. It will not move fast. It will not be a quick moving fast energy. That's not who you're dealing with. This is a slow moving, grounded, stable legacy energy. And if you are not legacy potential, again, this energy would not be attracted to you in the first place, because that is what this energy is looking for. They're not an energy that started off wanting something full of passion. Passion is definitely there. I don't know. I mean, people want passion. It's there. But again, ultimately what's important, or ultimately what really rules, or ultimately what is really standing out, is longevity. So again, you don't have to rush this, and it won't be. Not with the King of Pentacles. You don't have to force it. It won't be. Once again, not with the King of Pentacles. And I don't mean that it just has to be, this has to be a man. It is, King of Pentacles is a masculine energy, but this person, the other person, and maybe both of you, you know, has this energy. Everything does not need to happen all at once. It is okay. Slow doesn't mean no, but it is building. Let it unfold. Let it make sense naturally. Let it build. Let it grow. Let it get roots and a firm foundation. Something to stand on. Something to stand the test of time, right? Excuse me. So, all in all, this connection, it might have started simple. And again, it may still be unfolding. But it's not simple anymore. There's depth here, realness. There's truth here. There's something genuine really trying to come together. And what happens next comes down to who is willing to move past fear and choose what they already feel. As always, stay rooted, stay rising, and align with all the divine gifts ahead.